hard team to gank. And so picking a pick comp like this may be just making things even more difficult for KT.
Who's going to be playing around the Dragon? That's going to be their big weakness. They've got the Rumble. Rumble Victor have a lot of control around that objective early. They can get going in terms of Dragons. It's going to be hard unless KT can really wrestle back some ward coverage. If they fall behind in wards with a pick comp, it's going to be much the same story as game one.
Yeah, very true. So as the game is loading here, KT looking to tie things up. If they go down 0-2 in this series, I think it's going to be tough to climb out, especially if we see the same level of play and decision-making that we saw in game number 1 from the KOO Tigers. It's going to be intense either way, guys. Here we go. Game 2, KOO Tigers versus KT. Will we have a tie after this? Let's find out. All right, welcome back to Summoner's Rift. KT Rolster versus the KOO Tigers. The fans, of course, showing up in force today because they know the team that moves on will move on to the grand finals and have a very good shot at getting to Worlds.
Or just getting to Worlds.
In fact,
they
just get to Worlds. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they will lock in their space, and we won't know who's going to be first and second seed, but regardless, we will see both KOO and SK Telecom there. KT without very many points, only getting 10 circuit points in the first season due to their poor performance and the fact that they didn't make playoffs. They really need these points because even if they don't win the finals, even if they don't lock in that first seed, you want points so you don't have to play as many best of fives in the gauntlet.
Of course.
Isn't it fun to be optimistic after these last, 6 or so games of the KOO Tigers about watching KOO Tigers at an international event? I remember when I came over for the spring finals, people were saying, we really want to see SKT win this match because we don't know if KOO can really represent on the world stage after their IAM Katowice struggles. And then partway through this season, we were hoping, okay, don't really want KOO to make it because it feels like they'll get found out. They've only really got one winning strategy. Don't really want to see them at Worlds. Suddenly, though, 6-game winning streak. Okay, it's only 6 matches, but this team that we're seeing that's comfortably dispatched, CJ Entus, Najin, and now taking a game off KT, does look like a team that's ready to make it on the international scene and play in a high-pressure environment.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons why we're talking about KOO is they just didn't look very strong coming in. And Peekaboo doing his little tricks, walking into lane at level 1, but this means he will abandon Corki. No lane swap, duos in the top side. Peekaboo now here gets a ward down. They actually do something. He needs to get back up into the top side.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit too tough for Arrow up there, and yeah, you're not going to be able to do too much against Rek'Sai Rumble. I think that's a dangerous duo to try to 1v2 against at that blue buff.
It's a strange world where you're rushing to get back into a 2v2 against KOO Tigers, who have never been about the 2v2, but this redefining themselves in that way in the postseason.
I'm really curious to see if Peekaboo can make a difference here, because we talked about already. The big problem, one of the big problems anyway, for KT last game, is that Peekaboo never really got to get out of lane and never got to kind of become that vision-controlling duo with Score, but maybe on Thresh, maybe on his best champion here, he can do it.
We know what KT look like, how they play when they get deep vision and they play around anybody else. They contest smartly. Score and Peekaboo are both very smart, both about placing vision and playing around it. They just never got to place it, so the second part of that was not relevant in game 1.
Yeah, and there's that huge win rate for Gorilla on that Alistar, undefeated 8-0. But Peekaboo on that Thresh is certainly no slouch as well, too. So really, it's cool because we have both of these supports on their best champions here in this game.
You have the choice between the Janna, which is the best 2v2 laning matchup, and the Thresh that can provide the roam threat. He picked the Thresh.
Oh, hi. Score turns around onto Hojin. Hojin, that was a bit odd. They ran right into each other, and he's in a lot of trouble. Where's the flash? There it is. Can he get away, though? One more Cocoon will do it. Hojin trying to get away. Where's that cooldown? Can he burrow back into the Dragon Pit? There's the Cocoon. It lands, and first blood goes to Nagne. Someday taking a bit of damage on the way out, but Smeb can't push this. Not with 3 members of the KT Rolster team right there. Flash from Kuro. Peekaboo flashes. Gets a play. There's the death sentence as well. And now Kuro in a lot of trouble. It's going to be a double kill for Nagne out of that fight. 2 kills in total And Peekaboo already helping make plays. KT already in a bit of, or Ku already in a bit of trouble.
And now we're going to see what happens when KT gets ahead. Smeb playing a little bit aggressively right here. There's a high possibility this will be a dive.
Well, good flash from Smeb to avoid it. Wow, he avoids both CCs. Now, Someday was baiting pretty hard. Smeb had to burn the flash, but he was kind of ready for that.
Peekaboo went on a massive journey across the map, made his impact felt, though splashing over to the Raptor camp to pick up the kill, or help pick up the kill onto Kuro, but that was all started by Hojin going for the aggressive move, face-checking an Elise on level 3 Elise. Patch 515, the damage is real.
Well, just didn't see him because he was standing still in the fog of war, so he was quite surprised, but that Elise damage cannot be underestimated. Easily winning the duel against Rek'Sai and Score catching up with the help of that red buff.
It almost looked like he wasn't looking at his monitor or something, or looking at his position on the map at the time when he went in.
I mean, how often at level 3 with the Tremor Sense do you not see someone when they're around? It's just one of those things where
Very true.
He was invisible literally because he was burrowed and then was surprised to find the cocoon and almost certainly imminent death.
It's a bit of bad luck.
Don't know how much credit Score gets for that one, but he worked out.
Yep.
And look at this. Here's where it starts to go right for KT in a lot of their games. Get the kills, the wards start to go in. And now this Corki able to play more aggressively. It's opening up the map for Peekaboo as that vision starts to be placed more aggressively for KT Rolster. They're going to try and dive.
Yeah, Someday could be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got no flash. He took Ignite this time. Goes back under turret. There's the exhaust. Nagane coming in. Kill, though, already for Someday. They're turning it around. Smeb and Hojin on the run. Someday backs off. He is low health. Can you be careful? Never mind. He's going back in. Forget being careful. He wants the kills. Hojin gets low, but it doesn't look like KT is going to get anything else out of this. Not with Kuro coming down.
Now, they saw him running down from the pink board, so smart disengage from KT. Someday nearly dies, but they had to pull back. They don't get greedy, but Ku trying to make a play when there's a teleport on the mid laner. It's not really a viable option, but this might be.
Nagne, they managed to catch him. Grabbing the field, he comes back in for the kill. Hojin doesn't quite get it, though. Or does he? No, Peekaboo gets one. And Nagne, is he going to escape? He actually is. Equalizer goes down. Someday barely gets caught by Smeb's equalizer. The fight goes on, though. Kuro and Gorilla are going to be safe under that turret for the moment, it looks like. I don't think you can really dive that. No. So kills on both sides, but still goes much, much better for KT.
And this series so far has been dictated off of teleport ganks. I mean, that's all there is to it. And KT now with a 1.5k advantage and a 7-minute dragon look like they may be in a healthy place. They can't really do this right now, though.
Yeah.
Just going to have to yank out on the lantern.
That's right. And meanwhile, wow, Arrow gets really low. Prey nearly picks him off.
Already used his flash and heal, so couldn't follow the flash from Arrow. Prey is winning the 1v1, but not in any big sense. It's only a couple of CS ahead, but the things that weren't working for KT, specifically the teleports, as you mentioned, Monty, coming up a plum, and whenever Ku has made the aggressive move, they've been punished.
This looks so good for Ku at the beginning moments of this, but and the teleport came in for Fizz.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Fizz had a chance to get back and then use the TP. Ku was not actually counting on having to deal with the Fizz in that situation, but Ku making a blunder right there. They didn't account for the mid TP, then they didn't account for Smeb's TP after he barely escaped from their dive.
Peekaboo trying his best to freeze the wave as much as possible, literally yanking it out of the top lane just to try and help Prey out. Of course, he wants to back, pick up his items, got the components of a Phage machine. Will there be any semblance of normalcy? Because Ku was definitely on the accelerator the moment they got ahead in game one, and KT, they have to do the same thing here.
Well, they've got a good start to it already. I think the crucial thing is that Dragon wasn't able to be taken by KT.
Peekaboo has been unleashed on the map and already made his presence felt.
Pretty much. So he does. Remember, this guy, Peekaboo, is the original roaming support here in Korea. He was really doing that style of play before anyone else was here in competitive play.
Kuro's CS is super, super low. He was only level 4 when the top laners were level 5 in the engage and didn't have enough gold to finish his first Hex Core upgrade. So doesn't even have the wave kit to match a Diana of all champions. So he's actually in a bit of a world of hurt in the mid lane.
Has to be so worried about getting all in. Sure has the exhaust and has the flash, but with how much crowd control is on this KT team. Now, he took the exhaust, but that means there's no cleanse for Thresh Hooks. There's no cleanse for Cocoons. Could be problematic at Peekaboo. He is trolling with the Lantern.
Yep.
So without the wave clear, you're already going to get out-rotated when you're against a summon and teleport mid lane, and now you can't even control the wave. One of the reasons Victor is such a priority pick in Champions is that from level 7 onwards, with an 1,000 gold investment in the Hex Core, you have that instant backline wave clear. Not being able to afford that in multiple ways, being out-roamed, out-pressured by a Diana, a melee champion with questionable wave clear early, it's a big problem for the Blue Tigers.
Score is lurking. Jungle. Looks like he's going to move in a little bit here. Peekaboo, there's a Lantern for Score. This time, there's no joke. Whoa, it didn't work, though. Couldn't take it in. Teleport coming for Ku as well. KT could be in a bit of trouble. They're going to teleport Nagne up to that top lane as well. Peekaboo trying to escape. They're going to jump on to Smeb, and he will nearly go down. Can Score catch him? Meanwhile, more action on the top lane. Prey tries to get the kill on the arrow. Can't get it, and that's 2 kills now for KT. Ku just cannot seem to get any traction in game 2.
And Kuro finally gets that item shop in awkwardly as Nagne is teleporting top and making the difference in the skirmish. So really punished for his bad item timings. And KT win another skirmish crucially and jump out to an over 2,500 gold lead at 10 minutes.
And here's where it gets really scary, too. 3 Sheens now for KT. Let's take a look at that. Score can't quite get to the Lantern in time. Now Arrow is going to try and Valk out, try and get back behind the Diana. Smeb getting low at Peekaboo. You know, he will flash out at the last possible second. Score sent to clean up Smeb with that execute. And then Diana taking care of Prey in the top lane, rather.
Yeah.
It's the little things, though, Monte Cristo. It's the fact that even though the gank wasn't quite as smooth as it could be with the way the Lantern interacted, the fact that it happened exactly when Kuro was just walking out of base means that, you know, you take teleport as a mid laner, you leave the lane, you expect to take significant turret damage. He was not punished in any way, shape, or form by Kuro.
Not yet. Who's got quite the mountain to climb to come back in this one. Although, I mean, I don't know, how worried are you for Ku at this point? Because they still have a very strong late game team comp, but KT is getting such a big early lead. How close is this game really?
Not very, especially because the number of Sheens that are coming through from KT means that their burst damage and their ability to dive turrets, Smeb's TP is down. Someday has his up currently. They always seem to have that global, so I would just push turrets and dive. You're going to get into a situation where you have 2 Trinity Forces completed at a similar timings for KT. And the 1-3-1 when that happens is going to be absolutely brutal.
The panic stations start when the dragons really start to come through for KT, because when it comes to the split push, remember, Smeb, he's on the rumble. He's built for team fights, not necessarily for laning phase. He will be run over by Fizz in most situations. So if they have the dragon advantage and the split pushing advantage, that's when the panic stations really start for the Ku Tigers.
Well, Ku really doesn't have any vision out on the map right now. I mean, they've only got 1 ward past River, and KT was able to take that dragon, you know, without Ku really even knowing it was going on until the end.
Laning phase felt like it ended so quickly. Peekaboo was able to roam. The aggressive deep wards that the standby of the KT Rolster organization, they've been all over this red side jungle for what, the last 5 to 6 minutes, ever since that Peekaboo roam happened at about 4 minutes into the game. And it's back to the same old KT that showed so much success in the second half of the summer season.
Definitely. As we took a look at the gold right there, Nagne about 2,000 gold ahead at 13 minutes, but with that perfect kill contribution so far, he's definitely been the major player on this KT team. Certainly we've seen some flash out of the Boo, but it's been Nagne whose TPs have been on point.
I don't get this carrot trident thing. What are you going to do? Like, give him good eyesight?
Yeah, they can see in the dark better afterwards.
I guess so.
It's actually, it really helps against Nocturne.
Sunday's a nice guy, man. He's helping people out.
Kuro's forced back, and this is what happens when it's Nationals to Diana. Your turret instantly explodes, and the pressure just continues for KT Rolster.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, I don't even know how you find a place to have a good team fight if you're Ku Tigers right now. You're just not going to be able to set anything up. This is a nightmare scenario for anybody against KT.
Yeah, And this is where they're strong. And when we talk about KT, it's like you give them a lead early, they will close on you someday. Will get 100 CS over the enemy top laner and start to dominate that matchup. And if you get ahead of them, well, they've shown they can come from behind with 3 inhibitors down, from 5 dragons down. They are very resilient. And of course, they're not going to win all those. They did get blown out in the last one, but they have some staying power.
Yeah, pretty much. Another turret falls. Lead grows. 4,000 now for KT Rolster.
They're ahead in every metric, though. In the late game, they have the Diana, who will do so much scrapping damage that might start to equalize. The slight mismatch between Cogmore and Corki. Diana will make up that damage. Already, the 1-3-1 is going to be monstrously strong with the double teleport lineup. And both Fizz and Diana can easily dispatch Rumble when he tries to split push with the teleport. So,
catch on to Peekaboo. They're going to take him out. KT with no response. Box used as well, too. There we go. Finally a pick coming in for the KOO Tigers.
Went for one of his warding missions solo, only got down 1 ward and died. So that was definitely a misfire from Peekaboo.
Well, they got the teleport out, though, which is yet another thing that Smeb is not going to have for the next dragon fight. And sure, they got the kill, but was it worth it when there was no follow-up objective to use that TP? I say absolutely not. And the TP, see how that is punished, because KT can really start to dive aggressively now. Both Trinity forces are done. KT in the midst of an enormous power spike at the moment.
Screw the Trinity Force much, because look at Nagne's items. Abyssal Scepter, Nashor's Tooth at 15 minutes. That is an unbelievable amount of power. This Diana can 1v2, 1v3 with ease.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to try fighting it. I don't think the KOO Tigers do either, and that's going to mean probably a pretty easy dragon for KT when it comes back up again in the next few minutes or so. Meanwhile, more wards going down. There's Score and Peekaboo together again. Dynamic duo.
Score and Peekaboo
reunited.
Were never really on the same screen in the early game in the previous match, only in terms of team fights and skirmishes. Now they're on their warding missions. It's no coincidence that KT's return to form.
It's interesting how the first couple minutes for each game really has determined if these teams can play the type of game they want to play. And both teams seem to be such as that if they don't get to play their type of game, they fall apart relatively quickly. What do you think?
I think that's pretty much always been the KOO matchup. They've always been about babying their way through an early game that's been up and down. It's definitely been on form, and maybe that's more than a coincidence, been part of their renaissance in the recent games. But this is pretty much the KT that we've come to expect in the last couple of months.
I think for me, KOO has found themselves in this situation with some frequency. But the main problem is that the way KOO got back into these games was by playing around Dragon. And that's just not going to be an option.
Nope.
Smeb's TP is down. How do they stop the triple pressure coming in? They've already lost 2 of their turrets, and frankly, KT doesn't even have to care about the next dragon. If KOO decides just to group on that objective, they should just keep split pushing and start to threaten inhibitors.
Yeah, they could pretty easily take mid-tier 2 or top-tier 2 if KT, or if KOO rather, does want to go for that dragon, but...
And how do you just fight for the dragon when you don't even have a teleport on Rumble? You can't. That's the big issue, is that getting champions like Twisted Fate, which, okay, they dealt with very well, all these double TP champions like Diana has been used very frequently by GodV and other Diana players. It's an extra thorn in the side of a team that, as Monte Cristo mentioned, has always highly prioritized Dragon as a solitary and main win condition.
Yeah, very true. The lead continues to grow for KT. And Monty is one step away, further away from crying salty KT tears, deceived once again by their supposed good play. It is good right now.
Yeah.
What do you know?
It's been great.
Joy.
They played well in the last game. In spite of being so far behind, you could see that they still had the right idea of what to do in those team fights, even as they surrendered.
Oh, yeah.
So not falling quite so far behind early, definitely, and very obviously helping them out.
Well, I mean, that's why they surrendered, right? Because they did get, like, the perfect team fight. And they're like, well, if we can't win that, there's literally no way we're going to win the game. So, yeah, good teleport there. Oh, Smeb gets caught in the jungle here. And, wow, quick kill for Someday. Is he going to pay for it, though? Hojin coming in. Doesn't look like he will. And The assassination's coming in for Someday. KT takes the second dragon. Coup Tigers continuing to look like they're in a lot of trouble. I mean, maybe they can get this blue buff, but doesn't even look like they can get that.
No. KT are going to contest every single blue. They've been contesting the red off spawn the last couple of times. They control this jungle. I don't know if we'll see a surrender from Coup, but it's basically the same situation KT found themselves in the previous game, where hope, it's mostly gone.
Well, I mean, if we go to like the ultra late game, 6 items on both sides, which I don't think we're going to get to, but if we do get there, Coup can win a team fight theoretically then, but like I said, I don't think we're going to be in that situation. But I think that's Coup's only chance right now, right? Is to just try to stall until 6 items, right?
Even then, it's not good because 2 teleports are extremely strong in the late game. You can just always play the map better than your opponents. And there's no answers on Coup.
Yeah.
They have no answer to stop even one split push. Rumble's not going to do it. And they have to deal with both Rumble, or both Diana and Fizz. It's just, it's not going to work.
Coup is driving the car without any breaks. Only KT can decide if they want to stall this game because they're the ones that set the pace. They have superior 1-3-1. They have the 2 teleports. KT will play this game at the pace they want to, and Coup, they're getting dictated to. So they don't really have any way to initiate fights. They don't really have any way to force objectives, even fight at Dragons, just because they've never even been in a position where they've had teleport for that objective. So unless KT decides to be very benevolent this game, it's theirs to lose.
So you said Coup's getting dictated to. What book do you think KT is reading to them?
I have to think about that one for a while.
Everybody poops. I think that's what Coup might be doing this game, guys. Just saying.
The classic work of literature.
The classic work of literature.
One of
right
the pinnacles
there.
of Western civilization. Yep, they're like, it's okay, guys. Everybody has games like that. You beat us in game 1.
Coincidentally, that might be extra applicable because pooping is what the words the Korean use for throwing.
That's true. That is true. They say the team took a poop. Yep. So there you go. Your lesson in Korean scene, League of Legends terminology, jargon, vernacular, if you will.
It's actually often used in trash talking.
Yep. That's
here
true.
in Korea. It's not considered bad to say that.
No.
They talk about toilets a lot from what I saw.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of that.
Oh, can they catch arrow? Nope, they can't. Hype averted.
You like to dodge the hype every now and then, Dylan?
I did. I knew if I didn't, you will. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kill my own hype this time. I'm not gonna let Monty do it every single time.
Great.
Because normally, if I would say,
we're working our way to a thoroughly hype-free cast now. I'm excited for this myself.
I'm developing my solo casting skills here. All right, it's Baron time for KT, and what's Coup going to do? Well, they're going to take a turret in bot lane.
I mean, this is a really good 3-man unit to take the Baron because they have % health damage coming in from a couple targets right there, and now Nagne going to try and zone this out. They'll easily get this.
Yeah, they will get the dragon. They're very low health. Gorilla slowed up by the box. Nagne going to flash away there. Oh, this could be bad. Kills coming in. Baron was taken by KT. Who gets a couple kills out of it, though? That was a very, very dangerous moment for KT. Probably the most dangerous moment they're going to have this game.
Yeah, but still a smart call. Okay, they lost a couple of members, but crucially, they didn't lose any of their wave clear.
Yeah.
And they have Baron buffs, so they're going to have to face tank this turret. Maybe there's a turret that they can get out of this. Looks like they will, but that's going to be it. That's it, though. There's nothing else they can do.
2 turrets, 2 kills. It's not actually a bad trade given how far behind Coup were in that situation. Remember, they didn't even have any wards.
But the problem is, this is where you don't want to give up. We'll talk about that in a minute as we take a look at this Baron. It does get very low.
Good box from Nick of course.
Yep, and Gorilla just going to break the hook with the ultimate to get back into the pit. That was a nice play from Gorilla to make sure that he could turn that into something. But one of the reasons why we don't see a lot of that 1-3-1 split push is because it is hard to fight around an objective like Baron with a composition that is weaker in team fighting. But if you can get the Baron, guess what? Double teleport with Fizz and Diana is extraordinarily strong. So even if you lose a couple of members, even though Someday's not going to have this Baron, this is still where you want to be with this composition.
A bit of gold back, the experience also because Someday and KT were very much over-leveled compared to Coup. Might be significant. I guess it's fortunate that they don't have Nagne split pushing if you're a Coup fan, just because we have the the lack of the Baron buff to really empower Sunday's split push.
Peekaboo's in one of the most fun moments you can ever be in on Thresh or like any grab champion where you're so far ahead you can just start throwing grabs in across the wall. You're like, well, if I hit somebody, we'll kill him.
Ooh, that hurts. Equalizer has to be dropped on the tower. Someday going for a pure damage build straight into Blade of the Ruined King after the Trinity Force. So pure split push for Someday. He's going to take a couple extra tower hits right there.
Able to do some decent dirty farming though, and he can always Playful Trickster away, although that means he has no slow. Pushes the ult onto Hojin, slows him up a little bit. There we go, Smeb slowing with the harpoon. Someday goes back in. He'll get caught though, having to use that Playful Trickster to get out of turret egg or really cost him, but KT responds with 2 tier 2s, so really didn't end that badly, did it?
They don't care if Someday dies right there. It is totally irrelevant to their strategy. They're still going to be able to probably position their way to a third dragon when it spawns in 5 seconds. At the very least, they can scrap out long enough for Someday to be able to TP to that fight.
1-3-1, just so powerful. Trinity Force Fizz, Nashor's Tooth Diana. You can never leave that mid lane if you're Kuro, because the only safe spot to wave clear. Everywhere else, any sort of transition, you're going to be caught from the pick of the likes of the Fizz Ultimate, Elise Cocoon, Thresh Death Sentence. So Kuro can only wave clear in mid, and they don't have any other wave clear on the team, so turrets are just going to keep stacking up. The Dragon's going to keep stacking up. Win condition after win condition, fully realized by KT Rolster.
And when this Baron starts to spawn again, it's the Diana passive with that attack speed constantly proccing. They're going to have 2 Blade of the Ruined Kings and 2 Trinity Forces. That Baron is going to die nearly instantaneously.
KT, they want that last tier 2. And they'll probably get it. No Baron buff anymore. But again, it would need like a flawless team fight from the Coup Tigers to be able to stop this one. Get an easy red buff. And then back down probably. KT really doesn't need to be in a big rush here. I mean, they can wait till the next Dragon. They can wait till the next Baron. They can just keep pressure on all the lanes. And Coup Tigers, I mean, they've been fighting to survive. It's like they're pushing a boulder uphill, and like every couple minutes, KT just kicks it back down again. And Coup can only push it up like half as far the next time. Eventually, that boulder's just not going to move. It's going to roll backwards onto him. That's going to be the end of the game.
And I think that's how the myth of Sisyphus went.
That's exactly right.
Eventually, he didn't keep pushing that boulder till the end of time. He actually was crushed and died.
Yep, KT about to be crushed by the old Sisyphus boulder. In a reference surely everyone will understand.
I don't care. I liked it.
Hey, man, we're in the same wavelength there. It's fine.
Nagne adds the Zhonya's to his motley crew of items. Coup have to overextend so far up the map just to get any sort of objectives. They're spotted out by pink wards.
I can't remember the last time they've had a ward past River.
Them.
I think they will. Well, they're going down the bot lane for a little bit here anyway.
Remember, they have 2 teleports. They can double down on the split push.
All right, Someday.
Okay.
Doesn't want to check the brush. There's too many people there, and it's like they will beat back most of the damage onto the inhibitors, so they actually do a good job of taking something without any reprisal, as long as the Corki and the Thresh were in the bottom side.
You know, you could say Someday might have been able to be a little bit more aggressive there, but again, why? You know, why do you need to be? You've got this lead. The only way you can really blow it is to be overly aggressive. So better to take the 100% chance to win in 10 minutes than the 80% chance to win now, right? That's, I mean, the golden rule of playing a good game in nearly any sport.
Yeah, that's definitely what they want to do, and it's much more important to them that they get Baron control now and make sure they maintain that vision, because that's the big objective that they're looking for to close. Again, the 1-3-1 with 2 teleports, they get the Baron, and there's no way that Coup can defend as long as the split push is used properly by KT.
Watching Coup wave clear. They want to push wards up to the Baron, but with the pick pressure we've outlined multiple times, it's just too risky to do so. So Coup slowly rotating around, but Baron spawning in a minute. Want to prep for it as early as possible, but so much split pushing to deal with at the same time.
Do you like watching Coup wave clear?
It's very exciting.
It's fun.
It's all they can do.
The way they take out those minions so fast.
They just use that victory.
That's right, victory.
Well,
but not to victory.
Not to victory. Probably not this game. And I'm impressed by KT. The last 2 times that Coup have played arguably Kuro's best champion Victor into them, they've done quite well. They've managed to figure him out,
They do seem to have a response to it. And they catch him here. Equalizer goes down. Someday manages to dodge all the slows. Just skirted on the outside of it for the most part.
It's a really low percentage play from Kuro and Ku. Of course, so many members down the bottom lane. Nane, instant burst, about a quarter of the health of Ku. And remember, 10 seconds till Baron spawns, and we've still never seen a ward pushed up towards that area from Ku. It's not going to happen when you're sending multiple members without teleport to gank a Fizz.
Yeah, it's like the slow strangulation of the Ku Tigers by KT Arrow.
Well, they're not the Arrows.
KT Arrow and the rest of his team. That's also on KT.
And the Rolsters.
KT and the Arrow and the Rolsters. Oh, goodbye, Gorilla. Oh, what I meant is goodbye because you're going to walk away and you have your own victory.
Well, but now with Equalizer down and the Unbreakable Will down, they can't fight this. There's no way they're getting into the pit without Gorilla getting melted. And they don't have the AoE magic damage to lay down inside the pit itself. There's not really a way they could win a team fight now unless they somehow get some sort of miracle kill onto a member of KT.
But this is the Ku Tigers that KT Rolster would have prepped for the majority of the last 10 days, 2 weeks since they guaranteed that this was going to be their matchup. This is the Ku Tigers that's had mixed results. When they play these Dragon-focused comps with the likes of Rumble, with Kuro on the Victor, with the Trinity Force AD carries, sometimes they take it in the early game or they have a quiet early game, pick up that objective and snowball from there. But more often, especially in the second half of the season, this has been the result. It's been the rejuvenation. It's been the new strategies that have really seen the Ku Tigers step up. But they return to the familiar and the results just don't look great.
They don't. And there's the fish. Nice, man.
That's right. He got rabbited.
The receipt for the solo kill in game one.
Pretty much. Revenge. Revenge is a fish best served cold. Or bunny this time. And not going to get past Kuro, though. Still a lot of bursts on that Victor, but Baron will go down to KT.
Gorilla.
Will it? Gorilla, be the hero, man. Oh, he wasn't. Score gets a Baron anyway. Kind of depressing for the Ku Tigers, but what do you do? I mean, KT got everything they wanted this game, right? They got the picks, they got the map control. They've been able to push that very effectively to what is a longer game. Well, really not even that long of a game, but a very easy win for KT.
Well, they did, and also with the kill on Smeb and the fact that Kuro was seen on the bottom side of the map meant that there was really no damage threat at that Baron. It was basically Prey just trying to throw out some living artilleries, but not having too much of an effect.
Yep.
Every 5 minutes, Someday dies for his team to pick up a Baron. Every 7 minutes, sorry, and it mostly works out.
Every time a Someday dies, a KT gets its Baron. Is that what you're trying to say?
That seems to be what I'm weaving in this particular story.
It's the old adage.
It's actually a fish sacrifice that they offer up to the League of Legends gods in order to secure the might of the purple worm.
Right.
They didn't sacrifice anything to kill the majestic dragon, though. That's the fourth one they've added to their collection.
Yeah, man. They've got more dragons than Daenerys Targaryen now. She only had 3. What a dude.
Yeah, who is she? Having the only 3 dragons in the world.
Loses them all the time. Where are my dragons?
You need to look out
keep better track of them.
You need to look out for when she finally acquires the aspect of the dragon. That's when her rage will
I
really
don't know
be
if it's
powerful.
ever going to happen
No?
at this point. I'm not.
She caps out at 3.
I'm not going to get my hopes up. Someday, slowed down by the equalizer, but Krill's just going to recall. He's like, nice ult, bro. I'm going to go back to base.
They're having some problems holding this wave, quite obviously, and that's going to be the first inhibitor down.
Oh, Fish Hughes someday hopping over the wall. How in the world did he get over that wall? Did not look like he was going to make it, but he did. Thank you, Grump. And there goes the inhibitor in the bot lane now. Peekaboo taking the long way around, realized he couldn't go through the base gate.
Well, this has been a longer game than the last one, even though we're only 33 minutes in, but no less dominating. Kate